The little girl's hand slips into his during the wedding reception. Alexander Hartford, billionaire, tech magnate, man who built empires from code, freezes. He looks down at the tiny fingers wrapped around his, at the child who can't be more than 3, her dark curls bouncing as she smiles up at him with gap-toothed innocence. "Can I be your daughter?" she asks. The ballroom goes quiet. 200 guests in designer gowns and tailored suits turn to watch. His fiancée, Victoria, stops mid-conversation with the governor. The little girl's mother, one of the catering staff in a black uniform, goes pale. "Lily." The woman rushes forward, horror written across her face. "I'm so sorry, Mr. Hartford." She wandered off while I was. But Alexander doesn't hear the rest. He's staring at the child, at her earnest face, at the question that just shattered something in his chest. "Why would you ask me that?" he whispers. Lily tilts her head. "Because you look sad. Like me. I don't have a daddy. You don't have anybody either." The truth lands like a punch. 4 weeks earlier, I stand in the service entrance of Hartford Manor with my daughter's hand in mine, and my future hanging by a thread. "Mama, it's a castle." Lily breathes, her eyes wide. "It's just a house, baby. But even I have to admit, it's the most beautiful prison I've ever seen. 30,000 square feet of New England stone and glass, perched on the Connecticut coast like something from a fairy tale." The estate manager, Ms. Devon, greets us with the kind of smile that doesn't reach her eyes. "Miss Torres, we discussed the childcare situation." "I know." My throat tightens. "I have backup arranged. This is temporary, just today, while I finalize preschool enrollment. It won't happen again." It's a lie. Preschool costs more than I make in a month. But I need this job. 6 months since Lily's father walked out. 4 months since I lost our apartment. 3 weeks sleeping in my car before a church shelter took us in. This position, head of household staff for Alexander Hartford's wedding preparations, it's a miracle. It's survival. Ms. Devon's silence stretches. She's very quiet. I add desperately. "She'll stay in the staff quarters. You won't even know she's here." Another beat. Then, one incident, Miss Torres. One complaint. "Do you understand?" "Yes. Thank you." I swear. But Ms. Devon is already walking away, her heels clicking against marble. I exhale slowly. Lily tugs my hand. "Is that lady mean?" she whispers. "No, baby. She's just busy." I kneel down, smoothing her curls. "Remember what we talked about? You have to be very, very good today. Can you do that for Mama?" Lily nods solemnly. She's been so good through everything. The eviction, the shelter, the nights I cried in bathroom stalls so she wouldn't hear. 3 years old, and already she knows how to make herself small. It breaks my heart. Alexander Hartford arrives at noon. I'm arranging flowers in the main hall when his car pulls up. A Tesla, midnight blue, silent as a ghost. He steps out in a suit that probably costs more than every piece of clothing I've owned combined. He's younger than I expected. 36, maybe 37. Dark hair touched with gray at the temples. Sharp features that photographs don't quite capture. And his eyes, they're empty. Not cruel. Not cold. Just vacant. Like someone replaced the person inside with a very convincing replica. He walks past me without a glance. Past the staff lined up to greet him. Past the estate manager offering updates. He moves to his own house like a ghost haunting familiar halls. Is he always like that? I whisper to Maria, another maid. Like what? Like he's not really here. Maria shrugs. Rich people are different. Who knows what they feel? But I know what absence looks like. I've seen it in the mirror every morning since Carlos left. The person who goes through the motions while the real version stays frozen in the moment everything broke. Whatever shattered Alexander Hartford, he's still living in the wreckage. The wedding is in 6 weeks. Victoria Ashworth, his fiancée, is everything you'd expect. Blonde, polished, from a family whose money is old enough to have its own accent. She arrives with a wedding planner, 3 assistants, and opinions about every detail. The roses are raw. I specifically said garden roses, not these grocery store things. I bite my tongue. They're David Austin roses. $200 per arrangement. I'll have them replaced immediately. I say. Victoria's gaze slides over me like I'm furniture. See that you do. She sweeps toward the terrace where Alexander stands looking at the ocean. I watch her loop her arm through his. Watch him smile automatically. Watch 2 people perform intimacy with the passion of a corporate merger. They don't love each other, Lily says from behind me. I jump. Lily, you're supposed to be in the room. I know, but I had to pee and got lost. She looks at the couple on the terrace. Why are they getting married if they don't love each other? That's not. Baby, it's complicated. He looks like you do when you think I'm sleeping. Zah, out of the mouths of babes. I take her hand. Come on, let's get you back before. Is that a child? Victoria's voice cuts across the hall. She's returned, face tight with disapproval. There's a child running around. I'm so sorry. She's mine. She won't. This is unacceptable. Alexander, did you hear this? The staff are bringing children to work. Alexander follows her inside. His eyes meet mine for the first time. Really meet them. I see the exact moment he notices Lily, notices her hand in mine, notices the fear I'm trying to hide. Something flickers in his expression. It's fine, he says quietly. It's not fine. This is a professional environment. We're hosting the Vanderbilt donation gala next week, and I said it's fine, Victoria. The room goes still. Victoria's mouth opens, closes. She's not used to being contradicted. We'll discuss this later, she says icily, and leaves. Alexander looks at Lily again. What's your name? Lily Marie Torres. She holds out her hand like I taught her. Pleased to meet you. A ghost of a smile touches his lips. He shakes her tiny hand with complete seriousness. Alexander Hartford. The pleasure is mine. Then he's gone, and I'm left standing there wondering what just happened. Over the next 3 weeks, I learned to read Alexander Hartford's silences. The morning silence, coffee on the terrace at dawn, staring at the ocean like it holds answers. That silence is grief. The afternoon silence, calls with lawyers, investors, board members. Words that sound engaged but mean nothing. That silence is duty. The evening silence, dinners with Victoria where they discuss seating charts and trust funds. That silence is resignation. He's building a life he doesn't want with a woman he doesn't love, and everyone around him pretends not to notice. Except Lily. She notices everything. Why doesn't he smile with his eyes? She asks one afternoon while I'm polishing silver. Some people forget how. We should remind him. Baby, Mr. Hartford is very busy. But Lily's already wandered off, and I'm learning that trying to contain a 3-year-old in a 30,000 square foot house is like trying to hold water in my hands. I find her in the library 20 minutes later. She's sitting on the floor with a picture book, reading to herself in the whisper voice she uses when she's trying to be good. Alexander sits at the desk across the room, laptop open, pretending to work. He's listening to her. Lily, come on. We talked about this. She's fine, Alexander says. She's quieter than most of my conference calls. I really am sorry. The preschool wait list, how old is she? 3.5. He looks at Lily, really looks. My daughter would have been 4 next month. The words drop like stones. Would have been. I'm so sorry, I whisper. Elliott syndrome. Rare genetic disorder. His voice is clinical, detached. We knew before she was born. Knew she wouldn't survive past infancy. Victoria wanted to terminate. I didn't. We compromised, carried to term, said goodbye in the hospital. My chest aches. Mr. Hartford, she lived 3 days. That was 2 years ago. Victoria and I separated. We're reconciling now. Her family thinks marriage will provide stability. My board thinks it will improve optics. Everyone wins. Except you, I think. Is that why you look sad? Lily asks. Alexander's careful mask cracks. Just for a second. Just enough. Yes, he says. That's why. Lily climbs to her feet, walks over, and pats his hand. It's okay to be sad. Mama says feelings are allowed. He stares at her small hand on his like it's a foreign object. Your mama is very wise. The Vanderbilt Gala is chaos. 300 guests. A senator. 2 tech CEOs. A Nobel laureate. The staff works 18-hour days making everything perfect. Lily stays in the servant quarters, but she's restless. I check on her between courses, between crises, between moments when Victoria snaps her fingers and expects miracles. On board, Mama. I know, baby. Just a few more hours. Can you draw me a picture? She nods reluctantly. I kiss her forehead and run back to the ballroom where a waiter just dropped a tray of champagne glasses and Victoria is having a very public meltdown about incompetence. An hour later, Lily appears in the doorway. My heart stops. She's wearing her best dress, the one from the donation bin that's slightly too small. Her curls are brushed. She's holding a drawing. She walks straight through the crowd of billionaires and politicians, makes her way to Alexander, and tugs his sleeve. The room notices. Conversations pause. Victoria's eyes go wide with fury. I made you this, Lily says, holding up the drawing. So you won't be sad. It's a crayon picture of two stick figures holding hands. One tall, one small. A sun in the corner. Hearts floating in the air. Alexander takes it with trembling hands. Thank you, he whispers. Mr. Hartford, I am so deeply sorry. I rush forward, face burning with humiliation. Get that child out of here. Victoria hisses. Come on, baby. I reach for Lily's hand. Why is everyone always mad at Mama? Lily asks Alexander. She works so hard. I know she does. And she's really nice. And she makes good pancakes. And she reads me stories even when she's tired. Lily, that's enough. I'm begging now. But Lily looks up at Alexander with those enormous eyes. If you're sad and I'm sad because I don't have a daddy, maybe we could be not sad together? Can I be your daughter? The silence is deafening. Victoria laughs, sharp and brittle. This is absurd. Alexander, have security remove them. No. His voice cuts through the ballroom like a blade. He kneels down to Lily's level. Can I tell you something? She nods. I had a daughter once. Just for 3 days. And I loved her more than anything in the world. Do you know what I'd give to read her stories? To make her pancakes? To watch her grow up? Tears slide down his face. The great Alexander Hartford, crying in front of 300 people. Everything, he whispers. I'd give everything. He looks at me then. Really looks. Sees the exhaustion I hide. The fear. The desperation. You're doing it alone, he says. Raising her. Yes. My voice breaks. And you're here because you have no other choice. I can't speak. Can only nod. Alexander stands. Turns to face the crowd. Faces Victoria. I'm done, he says. Done with what? Victoria demands. Pretending. Performing. Building a life that means nothing. He looks at Lily. This child just taught me more about love in 5 minutes than I've felt in 2 years. You're being ridiculous. It's the stress of the gala. I'm calling off the wedding. The ballroom erupts. Gasps. Whispers. Victoria's face goes white, then red. You can't. We have contracts, my family. Can sue me. I don't care. He turns to me. How much do you make here? I what? Your salary. How much? 40,000 a year. I'll pay you 200,000. Plus housing. Plus benefits. Plus full coverage for Lily's preschool, healthcare, whatever she needs. I can't breathe. Mr. Hartford, not as a maid. As someone who reminds me what matters. As someone whose daughter sees truth that everyone else ignores. He looks at Lily again. I can't be your father. But maybe I can help your mother give you the life you deserve. This is insane. Victoria shrieks. Yes, Alexander agrees. Sanity hasn't been working for me. The aftermath is brutal. Victoria's family threatens lawsuits. The board calls emergency meetings. The media descends. Billionaire calls off wedding for maid's child. Makes every headline. I offer to resign. Absolutely not, Alexander says. We're in his study. Lily is drawing at the coffee table, oblivious to the chaos she caused. I'm still reeling. Mr. Hartford, this is my fault. I never should have brought her here. Stop. Please. He looks exhausted but more alive than I've seen him. Do you know what I was doing before your daughter interrupted that gala? I know. Planning my funeral. Not literally, but mentally. Thinking that I'd honor my dead child by building a marriage as lifeless as I felt. That seemed like appropriate penance. That's not. Lily reminded me that my daughter lived. For 3 days, she lived. And I loved her. And that love doesn't honor her by making myself a tomb. It honors her by living the life she didn't get to have. His voice cracks. I can't give Lily a father. That's not what this is. But I can give her mother a chance to raise her without drowning. And maybe you can both remind me what it feels like to be human again. You want us to stay? I want you to live here. Really live here. Not in the servant quarters. In the guest house. Lily deserves a yard. A room with toys. A childhood that isn't lived in the margins of other people's lives. This is too much. It's not enough. But it's a start. We move into the guest house that weekend. Lily has her own room. Painted pink, filled with books and dolls and everything I could never afford. She stands in the doorway crying happy tears. Is this real, Mama? Yes, baby. Can we keep it? The question destroys me. 3 years old, and she already knows that good things get taken away. Yes, I promise. We can keep it. That night, I tuck her into her new bed, a real bed with a frame and everything. She clutches the stuffed elephant Alexander gave her. Mama? Is Mr. Alexander still sad? I think so, but maybe a little less sad. Good. Because he's nice. And sad people should have somebody. Yes, they should. Over the following months, something unexpected happens. Alexander starts having dinner with us. Just casual. He'll knock on the guest house door with takeout, and Lily will drag him to the table to tell him about her day at preschool. He listens like every word matters. He teaches her chess. She's terrible at it, but he never gets impatient. He reads her bedtime stories when I work late. He helps her build elaborate block towers. He's not her father. We're both clear about that. But he's present, engaged, alive. You're healing him, Maria tells me one afternoon. No, Lily is. You both are. I think about this while watching Alexander teach Lily to identify birds through binoculars. The way he smiles now, it reaches his eyes. Maybe healing isn't something you do alone. Maybe it's witnessing each other's pain and choosing to stay anyway. 6 months after the canceled wedding, Alexander calls me to his study. I have a proposal. My stomach flips. Okay. The foundation I run, childhood genetic disease research. I want to expand it. Create a wing focused on supporting families. Housing assistance, childcare, medical bill coverage. All the things that destroy parents while their kids are sick. That's amazing. I want you to help run it. You understand what these families face, what they need, what the system fails to provide. I don't have experience. You have survival. That's better. He slides a folder across the desk. This is the proposal. Look it over. Think about it. I open it. See the scope, the budget, the potential to help thousands of families like mine used to be. Why me? Because you see people everyone else misses. Because you ask for help even when it terrifies you. Because your daughter taught me that asking questions, even ones like, "Can I be your daughter?" changes everything. The Hartford Family Foundation launches a year later. We've helped 37 families, prevented 4 evictions, covered medical bills that would have bankrupted young parents, created childcare cooperatives, changed lives. Lily is 4 now. She still asks Alexander questions, still draws him pictures, still pats his hand when he looks sad. "Do you miss your daughter?" she asks one evening. We're in the garden, Alexander's new project. He's planting flowers Lily picks from a catalog. Every day, he says. Does it hurt less now? No, but I'm learning to carry it differently. Lily considers this. Mama says people we love stay in our hearts even when they go away. Is your daughter in your heart? Yes. Then she's not really gone. She's just different. Alexander stops digging. Looks at this child who somehow knows truths that therapy couldn't teach him. You're very wise for 4. I know. Lily grins. Mama says I get it from her. On what would have been his daughter's 5th birthday, Alexander asks if we'll join him. He drives us to a meadow overlooking the ocean. We bring flowers, lilies, for his daughter. Lily for mine. Her name was Emma, he says. I don't talk about her enough. Like silence will hurt less than remembering. Tell us about her, I say. So he does. About her perfect tiny fingers. The sound of her breathing. The 3 days of holding her and memorizing every detail. Lily listened seriously. Then, I bet she was beautiful like my mama. She was. And I bet she's glad you're not sad all the time now. Alexander's eyes fill. I think she would be. We plant the flowers together. Lily sings a song she learned in preschool. Something about stars and love and heaven. Her voice is sweet and off-key and perfect. Afterward, she takes both our hands. Can we be a family? She asks. Not like before you want it, but like a new kind, where people who are a little broken take care of each other. Alexander looks at me. I look at him. We're both crying now. Yes, he says. We can be that kind of family. There's no wedding, no announcement, no dramatic transformation. Just 3 people learning to live in the space between loss and hope. Alexander endows the foundation fully, puts most of his board positions, spends his time doing work that matters, research that might save other families' daughters. I run the family support programs, help parents navigate systems designed to defeat them. Remember what it felt like to stand where they're standing. Lily grows, thrives, becomes the kind of child who sees sadness and walks toward it instead of away. On her 5th birthday, she makes a wish and tells us what it is. I wish that people who are lonely find people who are lonely so nobody has to be lonely anymore. That's a good wish, Alexander says. It already came true. I found you. You found us. Now we have each other. Simple. True. Devastating in its clarity. 2 years after that gala, I stand in the same ballroom. But everything is different. The Hartford Family Foundation is hosting its annual fundraiser. 200 families we've helped attend as guests of honor. Children run through halls where only adults used to tread. Lily, 6 now, missing her 2 front teeth, gives a speech about what it means to have a home. Alexander stands beside her, beaming with pride. Victoria is there. She's remarried, genuinely happy this time. She approaches me during cocktail hour. I was wrong, she says. About everything. About him. About you. About what matters. We all were, I reply. We were all just trying to survive our different kinds of pain. She nods, looks at Alexander and Lily laughing together. He's alive now. Really alive. Thank you for that. Thank Lily. She saw what the rest of us missed. At the end of the night, after the guests leave and the staff clean up, the 3 of us sit in the garden. Tired? I ask Lily. Nope. She's wired on cake and attention. Alexander smiles. Should we tell her? My heart jumps. Now. Tell me what? Lily demands. I take a breath. Mr. Alexander and I have been talking, and we thought, if he wanted, he could adopt you. Officially. Legally. Lily goes very still. Like be my real dad. Like be your dad in every way that matters, Alexander says. If you want that. Will we change my name? You can. Well, you can keep Torres. Or hyphenate. Whatever you want. Lily thinks hard. Can I be Lily Marie Torres Hartford? Absolutely. And can we still have pancakes on? Sundays. Always. And you won't leave like my other dad? Alexander kneels down, takes her hands. I will be here for every single day of your life that I'm alive. That's a promise. Lily launches herself into his arms. Then yes. Yes, yes, yes. Over her head, Alexander's eyes meet mine. Thank you, he mouths. Thank you, I mouth back. For seeing me. For seeing her. For letting loss transform into love instead of bitterness. 3 years after a little girl asked a billionaire if she could be his daughter, they make it official. The courtroom is small. The judge is kind. Lily wears a new dress and clutches the stuffed elephant Alexander gave her that first night. Do you, Alexander James Hartford, agree to take Lily Marie Torres as your daughter, to love and support her, to? Yes, Alexander interrupts. God, yes. The judge smiles. Then by the power vested in me, this adoption is final. Lily whoops. The small gathering applauds. And Alexander Hartford, once empty, once broken, once convinced that love meant building tombs, holds his daughter and weeps. If this story touched you, if you've ever felt invisible, ever questioned whether your pain could transform into purpose, ever wondered if broken people can build beautiful things, I want you to tell someone. Tell them that families aren't just biology, that healing isn't linear, that sometimes the smallest voices ask the biggest questions. Tell them that maids see things others miss, that children speak truths adults forget, that asking, "Can I be your daughter?" might be the bravest question in the world. Tell them that loss doesn't have to be the end of love, that it can be the beginning of a different kind, one built on choice and courage and showing up even when it hurts. We're all a little broken. We're all a little lonely. But maybe, if we're brave enough to ask, if we're willing to see each other, we don't have to be lonely anymore.